Hello and welcome back to the Pixel Street Podcast. This is episode 218. And if you didn't know, my name is Joel Campos, and joining me, as with every other week before this, is John Hansen. But with a twist, he's now a full time employee at GamePer.
Woo! Yeah,
Officially.
officially full-time staff writer. It's crazy to say that, but yeah, actually just started today.
Cool, yeah. Cue. Sorry. I'm reading Brandon Addison's comment on YouTube. He said, cue intro in 3, 2, 1. Um,
Hey,
but yeah, definitely proud of you, man. That's awesome that you finally you're a big shot now.
uh, I
Working a
guess.
9 to 5 like normal people.
Yeah. I'm. I had to grow up at some point, right? I couldn't sleep in until noon or one every day for my life, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but that was nice. I'm gonna miss that.
I mean, I'm sure it's nice. Like there are still times like I've been working. I work 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day, and I've been working that schedule for like over 5 years now. To the point to where it's like sometimes I just miss like when I would work like retail, right? Like when I was in college, where it's just like you just have a random Tuesday off, or like the next week's like, oh, you get Thursday off this week. I don't know, something about it, getting shit done, like grocery shopping on a Thursday is nice when nobody's out and about. But anyway, this is the Pixel Street Podcast. We're here to talk about video games. As always, you can follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. Check out the pinned tweet there to join our Discord server. I posted a picture today of Wrigley Field. It really triggered John, so go check that out.
So
Um,
triggered.
yeah. Also, you can follow us on YouTube by searching for Pixel Street Videos over there, or youtube.com/Pixel Street Videos, where we post all of our podcasts every week, Let's Plays, unboxings. We have a first impressions video up right now for Hi-Fi Rush, which is the game that stealth dropped last week on Xbox Game Pass. So, yeah, definitely go check that out. Why do I feel like I'm missing something, John? What am I missing?
I don't know. We haven't done this in a couple of weeks, so maybe we're just a little off.
Um, but yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Um, Sorry, Fake Art Prodigy just said hi. I hope we're not interrupting the podcast. Did you just raid me? Cool.
Oh,
Welcome in. We're doing
all
podcast stuff.
right.
Oh, Lang
The only
raid. Look at that.
the only
We're doing
thing that
podcast stuff.
the only thing that interrupted our our podcast was Joel reading that out loud and
Yeah,
bringing the show to a stop.
dude. I fumble with this podcast week after. Oh my god.
What?
Nothing. I'm just messing around. But yeah, we're chilling. We're doing a podcast. Welcome to the Pixel Street Podcast. Any new viewers or listeners? Um, John, let's just get into it, man. As
Yeah.
you
What's
know,
up? VR.
I would consider myself a VR enthusiast. Not in the fact that like I buy a lot of games and I play a lot of VR games, but in the fact that I buy a lot of VR headsets, right? Like I
Hmm.
have the PSVR, which I got on launch day, PSVR 1 on launch day. And then I got an Oculus Quest 2 like I think 2 years ago now, year and a half ago. And um yeah, and I love them, right? For what I use them for, I love them. And I have the PSVR 2 pre-ordered now, and it's not looking good, John. So
No.
they had announced I think through during the summer, like right before pre-orders went live, that they were planning on producing, I think it was 2 million for like the launch quarter of the PSVR 2, 2 million units, because they were anticipating a lot of people pre-ordering them, and it turns out that that's not the case because they announced that they're reducing that production down to 1 million, which is like 1 million is still a lot, right? Like let's
Still
not
a lot.
get that twisted, but it's
That's a
not that.
drastic change, though.
Yeah, that like clearly they were. I mean, if you told me that they were going to sell 2 million of these in the first quarter that it was out, I would tell you you're crazy as it is, right?
Hmm.
So, I mean, even 1 million is a crazy number to sell for something so niche and something so expensive.
Yeah. And I think that's the big problem here. Obviously, there's a lot of PlayStation people that love VR because of the first VR. Um, but that price point being higher than the PlayStation 5 itself, that's really tough. Plus, you add on there's no backwards compatibility. You're gonna have to rebuy a lot of games. Yeah, that's a really hard sale. So I think they just weren't ready for all of that to like throw people off, which I don't understand. It's a very PS3 type situation for them where they had this really impressive piece of technology in the PlayStation 3 and they're like, "Yeah, it's super expensive and we've got these games that aren't really that good for it." And then it started out kind of a flop, but it obviously turned things around. It became one of the highest selling consoles ever. But it's just like, Sony, what are you doing with this? You I would think that the PSVR one would be like their testing phase for like VR and like, okay, this is how we do this. Okay. And now going forward, we've got this better headset. We're putting all this new technology in it. We've got all these games. We're working on all this stuff, but they just, I don't know, I feel like they have been fumbling it along the way. It looks great, and if I didn't get so sick playing VR, I would probably buy one, but man, I don't blame anyone for not wanting to buy it right now.
Yeah, it's it's definitely a lot pricier than, the alternative options out there, right? Like you can get a Quest which you could play entirely on its own. I think it's $300. It might be a little more. I remember they raised the price a while ago.
Mhm,
And like you don't need like a PC to play with that. Like and it has all of the best games in VR that you could want to play outside of like Half-Life Alyx, which that's a PC only thing right now because of Steam and Valve and whatnot.
mhm.
Um, yeah, this just like I talked about it a few weeks ago where like the PSVR 2, there's not that many games coming out when it launches, which it wouldn't be like when the PSVR 1 came out, there weren't that many games at launch, but that's because it was like a new piece of tech at the time, right? 2017 was like when VR was just becoming like a consumer friendly like product. And so like that's kind of where you justify it like the new tech like I don't know, ideology of it. But now like with there being hundreds, dozen, I don't know, are there hundreds of VR games? There have to be hundreds by now. Maybe even thousands of VR games out there. The fact that like your launch lineup is like I looked at a list and I think it was like 50 to 80 games, something like that. And like for me, somebody who like I'm not gonna buy every VR game, right? I see. I'm just gonna buy the ones that look interesting to me that I think I would play, which is maybe five of those, right? Around launch.
Mhm.
So like realistically, like the average consumer is not gonna go out and buy this thing to play, just the new Horizon game.
Yeah, especially a Horizon game that doesn't have Aloy in it.
I mean, it seems like they're trying to grow that. This is a separate conversation, but they're definitely
Yeah,
trying to grow that franchise outside of
they are.
Aloy, which is probably the smart move.
Aloy's
I think it's a
bad
smart
choice.
move overall.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
Aloy
don't know.
makes the
Like
experience.
I'm still gonna get the PSVR 2 just because I love new technology, and this has like new stuff, right? Like it's got the eye tracking, it's got 4K display, so like it's gonna look really nice, but it's like what am I going to think of my purchase 3 months after I bought it, right? What am I going to think of it a year after I bought it? Who
Mhm.
knows? Like, I've seen a lot of people comparing this to the Vita, where the Vita came out, didn't have a lot of games, and that kind of like put it on the trajectory it had to kind of fail, right? Because like it never had that many games. And then by the time it started getting a lot of games, they were all like JRPGs and stuff, like super niche, like titles were coming to the Vita. Um,
That
I
is
don't
an
know. I
interesting conversation, though, just bringing up the Vita, because after all this came out, I started seeing a lot of people say Sony really needs to bring back the Vita too. Like they're just going to give up on VR and then bring the Vita back, which I don't see that ever happening, especially with the Switch owning that market and the Steam Deck cutting into it very big. I highly doubt that Sony is going to try and put out a competitor for those. But still, a lot of people are going in on the handheld market again, which is interesting to see.
Yeah, personally, I think the future of handhelds for like Sony and Microsoft is going to be in like streaming services, right? Like
Yeah,
like you
it's
use
already
xCloud from
there.
time to time. I use xCloud from time to time. It's great for what it's for. Like I'm not trying to play like competitive Halo handheld ever, even if it was like natively played, right? So I
Hmm.
think that streaming services. So Brandon Addison's in the YouTube chat talking about the PSVR 2, and they say I was gonna try to be day one for that, but I can't justify that price with what games are available and no backwards compatibility. I'd buy it if the library was larger and headphones were built in, with backwards compatibility, because Resident Evil 7 was the best VR game I've ever played. And then, and then when I start talking about how I'll feel about my purchase a year in, he said he'll buy it for me for $300 if I don't end up liking it.
Yeah, I Brandon's a friend of mine, and we talk about this stuff quite a bit. Um, yeah, he was very much into the first VR, and I the only time I had tried it was when I was working at Disc Replay, where I had to like try and test them before a customer could sell them to our store. And man, I just every time I've tried VR, I can maybe go for 10, 15 minutes, and after that I just get
So,
so sick.
so what I've heard, like I haven't tried a lot of VR headsets, right? The only ones I've tried are the PSVR 1, the Oculus Quest, and the HTC Vive because Will has one of those. But from what I've like heard from like other podcasts and like YouTubers who do a lot of VR content, is that the PSVR is like one of the worst VR headsets out there. Because like I guess the screen resolution is really bad, which kind of like causes motion sickness as it is, and the tracking isn't great because you have technology from the PS3 and the Move controllers and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, like I think that like comparing PSVR 1 to PSVR 2, you're gonna be able to tell immediately like, oh, this is a huge leap forward for what it is, but not having backwards compatibility is just like that if it had backwards compatibility, I feel like that would justify an upgrade for people who maybe still play their PSVR 1.
Hmm.
But outside of that, it's like, all right, you spent $500 on PSVR 1 games. Now you have to spend even more because those games, while they are, 5-year-old games, they're new now. So now you have to pay like $40 for it. Like you have to pay
Yeah,
full price again.
they haven't even like talked about like some kind of discount if you already own them or something, which is just
It
I don't
it
know, kind of gross.
And the thing with that though is I feel like that's not so much on Sony's side. I think that would be a game developer side. Like that's really their decision. It's a new
Yeah,
platform to sell their
it's a
product on.
publisher side more, but it definitely Sony could work in some kind of program like Xbox did with Smart Delivery to, just make that process a little easier. I don't know. I don't know. I don't work there. But yeah. Um
That being said, I would not be surprised if Beat Saber came out and they're like, "Hey, if if you bought the game on PSVR 1, you can pay $5-10 to, unlock it for PSVR 2." And something similar with the DLCs for it. I don't know. I wouldn't be
mm,
surprised if that happened, but at the same time, I would not be surprised if you're just shit out of luck because they want your money.
because business. Yeah. All right. I'm done talking VR.
Until I get mine less
Uh,
than a month. This month, which is wild.
this
That's
month.
the other thing about PSVR too. Like these motherfuckers at Sony can't be surprised that they're not getting pre-orders for 2 million units when there was no state of play revolved around this thing. Like there was no
Uh,
marketing really revolved around this thing. Like everything I've seen about it is the introduction video they made for it that just was kind of like a 3D rendering of the thing of the controllers and stuff, and just like YouTube videos of people that got to play it for like 10 minutes at CES. And I think they did some like video game journalist like behind closed doors demos that they've
mm.
got to talk about. But it's like you got to market this thing if you want to sell it. So it's like, do they even want to sell it? You know what I mean? Like, are they in too deep and they're like, oh, we already committed to this, so we got to put it out at the very least. Is it gonna
Yeah.
die in 3 years? Is
Mm,
PlayStation VR as a whole gonna die in 3 years? Who knows?
I don't know. What's the next thing for them if they do get out of VR?
I mean, do they have to get into anything? Like,
Just I would think so. They are such a reactive company. They don't really make the first move with anything. Their bread and butter, like all of their success from the very beginning, has been using tested tech, creating their own that is working very well. You see that with the PlayStation 1, memory cards, disc. Um, PlayStation 2 worked in the DVD player. PlayStation 3 went HD. PlayStation 4 got beefier and all that. So they're just not really a company that they don't really make splashes until there's already been one made. And then they come in and try and make a bigger splash. So I don't know. Maybe we just have to wait for like the next big thing to see what they're doing, or maybe they're already doing that next thing with all their PlayStation TV shows and movies.
Dude, I don't know. And the thing is, I don't think there is any next big thing right now, and that could be why they went through with the PSVR too, because like there is no equivalent, right? Like unless they wanted to go back to handheld, which personally I don't think is the correct move for them. But that's a discussion for another day.
Yep,
John, Respawn, creators of Apex Legends and other stuff, Jedi Fallen
Titanfall.
Order, Titanfall.
They've had a
They've had
rough
a
week.
rough week. They had a
They've had
rough
a
week.
rough week.
Yeah, so they delayed yet. I think this was already delayed once. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but they delayed Star Wars Jedi Survivor to I think the end of April. I think it was like a six
I want
week
to say the
delay.
28th is when
Yeah,
it's coming out now. Yeah.
it's like a 6 week delay, which is just like I never understood this when they announce a release date and then like weeks later they're like, actually we're gonna push that back another 6 weeks. It's like you had to have had some idea when you announced it originally that it was gonna move.
Vince and Pella did like write a message saying that all they are doing right now is working on bugs. So I guess that's good looking for when the game comes out. Um,
Yeah. And I'm
so
sure like I'm sure dates like in this situation where they announce a date and then 4 weeks later or 6 weeks later push it back for another 6 weeks. I'm sure that's all just like internal like debates going on, right? Like
mhm.
between higher ups saying like, no, we need to fucking fix this game or it's gonna look bad.
Well, actually, I think it'd be the other way around. The higher ups would be saying we want this out now,
No, no, no,
and
yeah,
then
no, but I'm saying like on the higher end of the game devs, right?
oh,
Like,
gotcha, yeah, yeah.
and they're
I
getting
mean, look
pushback
at
from the
Cyberpunk.
publisher saying they want their money more or less.
Yep.
Yeah, so
But yeah,
that sorry. And then they also Jason Schreier announced that an Apex Legends slash Titanfall because they're in the same universe. They canceled a single player game yesterday. He said it was quietly, but it's like they didn't announce anything, right? So it's like
um, well, yeah, but remember a few weeks ago when Ubisoft came out and said that they were canceling some unannounced projects. I think that's kind of what he meant is that EA didn't like come out and say with all this other stuff yesterday that they were canceling this uh, Titanfall 3 or whatever game this was here.
yeah. I mean,
I want to
you can't really get mad at something being canceled that you didn't really know about. Like
Jason Schreier was the one that originally talked about this sometime last year. This
probably.
game, yeah. So, but yeah, yeah. I don't. Respawn has grown dramatically over the last few years. I don't know which studio would be working on this, if it would be the same one that's doing the Jedi game right now or not. But yeah, I it's kind of crazy because you see all this happen, and then plus Apex Legends Mobile is being shut down. That went live last year, like last February, I want to say, and now
I
that's
saw
being
that
shut down.
I saw that on Twitter yesterday, and my immediate thought was, "Wait, there's an Apex Mobile?"
Yeah.
Like,
Well, apparently the thing, a lot of people loved it. Everything I had seen from it said was like people saying, "Oh, I really enjoyed this. Why are they getting rid of it?" Like to the point where, as many people as I was seeing say that, I was like, "Was this successful?" Obviously not, because EA loves money and they're not gonna turn away from that. But I don't know. It must have had like a really good core, but like really poor monetization.
Makes sense because like you got games like Call of Duty Mobile that just fucking they kill it,
Rake in the
right?
cash. Hmm.
And like I imagine Call of Duty Mobile is probably more popular in other countries, right? Because I don't hear anybody playing it.
You know,
Uh, I'm sure people
that
play it in the U.S.,
feels
but
that feels like it'd be a huge thing in like China.
yeah, yeah. All right, respawn. Hopefully they. I don't know. Hopefully we find out like what they're actually working on. That is the reason that they canceled this stuff. I don't know. I
Yeah,
really hope it. I
they're.
really, I really hope it wasn't like Titanfall 3 got canceled, like that. Like if that
I'm
came,
telling you,
if that's
I'm
what came
telling
out,
you,
that would actually be heartbreaking.
Titanfall 3 was canceled years ago. That
Yeah.
it was canceled years ago. I do think I think I saw something from one of the EA higher ups saying that while they are canceling the Apex Legends mobile thing now, that they're going to be working on a different mobile thing in the future for it. So who knows what's going on with that?
Apex Legends Mobile 2.
Yep.
Moving on, Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox are all skipping E3 this year. This comes from IGN. I think broke this news the other night. Nintendo are out because they have a light second half planned, which is not a big surprise because I'm sure they'll do a Legend of Zelda direct at some point, and that's really their main game this year, right?
We can talk about that in a second. But yeah,
Okay.
Nintendo is expecting a light second half. PlayStation just hasn't been there since 2018 is the last time they were there. And then Xbox, while they say they're not going to be on the floor, they have the Microsoft Theater, which is literally right across the street from where E3 is held, and they'll probably just do a show in their own stuff over there. So they're pulling an EA, I think, there where they're saying they're not going to be there, but they're going to be right there. Um, as for the Nintendo thing, yeah, I wrote about this in a news article earlier today. So for right now, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom is set to come out in May. Obviously, with E3 being in June, that's gonna be kind of rough to like talk about that much. That's way too early to start announcing DLC for that kind of game. Um, we had two Pokemon games last year. We haven't seen anything from Mario, so obviously there's nothing there. This also means that there's not going to be any Metroid Prime 4 this year, just
Rip.
because, yeah, that's not happening. The only game we know that is supposed to come out this year besides Zelda is Pikmin 4, and that has always been one of Nintendo's worst performing games when it comes to sales.
That
I
game's
know
so weird. Like I know nothing about it, but I know there's like people who are diehard for it, and then everybody else is like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of Pikmin."
it
It's
exists.
those little guys.
Yeah, it exists, and that's pretty much all it does. Um, at some point this year, I would think we would finally get Advanced Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. Of course, who knows how they view that with I don't I don't know what's going on in Ukraine anymore. I haven't paid attention to that at all, but I would think that we're getting to a point where they're about ready to release that. While we aren't getting Prime 4 this year, likely we might finally see that Prime. There's not a Prime trilogy. According to all the reports, there's no Prime trilogy, but the first Prime game is getting a remaster on Switch. But that we've heard for years, so who knows if that's actually happening. So yeah, there's a lot
I
of
mean,
stuff that's like, eh,
if they're remastering the first one, you have to imagine 2 and 3 are following it at some point, right? Like
who knows.
that'd be a really shitty thing to remaster 1
We're
and then
talking about Nintendo.
true. We are
Yeah,
we are
but
talking
yeah,
about
we'll probably
Nintendo.
get Pokemon DLC, I would think, and there was also a recent leak that there's a Mario baseball game in the works, which I would hope would come out this year. So there's gonna be stuff from Nintendo, but there's outside of May when Tears of the Kingdom comes out, probably not gonna be any like bangers this year. But we
Yeah.
are in February now. We should be getting close to a direct here pretty soon. Get some more Mario Kart tracks.
More Mario Kart tracks. Yeah, E3 is slowly dying, right? Year after year. and I think this might be the gut punch that's gonna kill it officially by this time next year. Is that would be my guess. And
Mhm.
then, of course, to nobody's surprise, Jeff Keighley tweeted like in 30 minutes after this was leaked or this article ran all over Twitter that Summer Game Fest will be in person, blah 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 on these dates.
He's the X that just will not let things go.
For real. That I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. It annoys the shit out of me how he's just like Summer Game Fest, and then he makes it seem like he is running like all of PlayStation shit, all of Xbox's shit, just by like
Mhm.
being like up in partnership with them, right? And like
Yeah.
that annoys the shit out of me because it's like you're like misleading people to think that like they have to watch the shit on your platform when they don't.
Also, isn't like all he's doing this year is like some concert? Like there wasn't even a Summer Games Fest announced. There was just like a
Oh, I
concert.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, whatever. Focusing on E3, this year without Xbox, Nintendo, and Sony there, I think it's really gonna.
No, Summer Game Fest is going to be Thursday, June 9th,
Okay,
live
cool.
from the YouTube Theater in Los Angeles.
All right, cool. Um, E3 this year, I think will. I don't know. It's probably going to be pretty lackluster because when I think of it, when I think of like, okay, so those are the big three uh, present presenters at each E3. Then you have your next tier, which would be like your Capcoms, your Square Enixes, those kind of game companies. And really, all their big announcements I see would be happening at a Sony State of Play or an Xbox show.
Yeah,
They might
because
have an exclusive on Nintendo.
like for everything, right? Like we're seeing it with like
Mhm,
Hogwarts Legacy. Sony has paid the devs for, WB Games for marketing rights for that game. So every time you see a trailer for Hogwarts Legacy, you see like the little like Sony go like doo play on PlayStation 5. And
mhm,
like that that has been true with like E3s in the past where like yeah, like Ubisoft has their own show, but there are many times when like you'll see the same game at the Ubisoft show at the Xbox show. And if we're being completely honest, most people they only see, like general consumers, right? They only see like the headlines like, "Oh my god, we saw Grand Theft Auto 5 at the PlayStation State of Play," you know? And so
mhm.
like it probably is better for them to just reveal their big stuff in these bigger shows in the
Yeah,
long run.
yeah. So really, the only ones I see coming out like positively from like E3 would be just like B tier studios. I don't really want to call them B tier because they do make good things, but you'll probably see something like Focus Entertainment, and I know Devolver always has a show there that people like, so that will
Well, no,
probably be the winner.
isn't there separate still? Theirs is always separate.
I don't.
That
It's
they
so
do it.
confusing
They do it
anymore.
in like a. They literally do it in like a parking lot nearby. I think with
Mhm.
like a giant tent.
Well, they're not alone in that then. But yeah, it's just really hard to see E3 just continuously come back, especially now with their biggest shows just leaving them.
Yeah, I was listening to Kind of Funny Games Daily the other day, and Greg Miller made a good point that like Jeff Keighley, if he's getting games to like be revealed on Summer Games Fest, he's probably also like asking them like, "Hey, can this be like exclusive to our thing?" So basically, it's
Mhm.
like if you're here, you're not at E3 with this. Um, and like that sounded weird to me at first, but then he went on to say that like when Kind of Funny did their they did like an indie game showcase during E3 week one year. Like that's what they told, because like they didn't want, just like a shit ton of indie games that were already shown at other things.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, it's very well possible that Jeff is doing that to like, dude,
Probably, yeah.
this man is like, he has got his heel on E3's neck right now. Like
Yeah,
he's just waiting to just like pull the trigger, right? Yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy. It's also sad at the same time because, like,
It is
E3 is
kind
a
of
thing,
sad.
like, 6 years ago, I would have loved to go to an E3, right? Like, it would have been the coolest fucking thing ever, just to walk the show floor, but yeah, yeah,
There's there'd been people talking about how it was going downhill for a very long time, but I want to say 2019 was the first year where I was like, wow, this is getting not good. Then 2020 happened, then 21 was kind of a disaster, 22 didn't happen again, so it's like it's just really hard to see E3 making a comeback, and it's kind of getting to the point where I'm like, it's already dead, just let it die.
yeah. Yeah, time will tell what the future of E3 slash Summer Game Fest holds. John, take me through the quick news.
All right, so some Xbox 360 games are starting to be taken off the marketplace. Do not worry though, because these games will be available on Xbox One and Series X in those backwards compatibility stores still. There are also some that you like, there's some that you can only get from like the online website, which is weird.
Yeah,
I know
I
the
never
Left 4
understood
Dead
that.
games are like that. And then I want to say Daytona USA is and Jet Set Radio. But yeah, those are the games. They have a list of everything that's being taken off the 360 store. Looks like it's finally time for the 360 to make its last hurrah.
So hold
Uh,
on, I'm
yep,
trying to think like logistically around this, right? Like you can still buy those games if you have a console newer than a 360. You
yes,
cannot buy those games on your 360.
no,
Are you able, after this goes through, right? After these games are not available to be purchased, say I paid for it on my Series X, right? And I could play it there. But let's say I wanted for whatever reason to play it on my 360. Am I able to go download it from there since
I
I own
think
it?
so.
Okay.
They did say like all of your games that you've bought in the past you can still re-download. So I would
Okay.
imagine that you can.
Okay, cool.
Um,
I mean, it's just them slowly sunsetting that. I mean, I would love to see numbers over
it's
the years of
it's
how
been a
much
good
money
one,
I would love to see numbers over the years of how much money in sales they're making directly from Xbox 360 consoles. Cuz
right?
I think it would be hilarious to see like, oh, we only made $50,000 this year from people buying stuff from their 360.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Rumbleverse is shutting down after being live for 6 months. Like we've heard a lot of games
You
recently that
played
have been like,
this.
I liked it. It's a good game. It's fun.
Never played
Um,
it.
I- and that's why it's being shut down. A lot of people haven't played it. So yeah, it's so odd because this is a game published by Epic, and it's a free to play game. It's a battle royale, and I'm just like, I'm thinking like Fortnite just destroyed this game, and yeah, because there, it's not even just that it's being shut down after 6 months. The final day that it will be live is February 28th. They are offering refunds for every single purchase that someone made on the game since launch.
So
So
they've made $0 on this.
absolutely nothing. They're just like, okay, you know what? We're done on this. It's gone. Uh, it's crazy. I haven't seen a situation like this before. Like we've seen Babylon's Fall. That one uh last year it released and then it was quickly announced that it was shut down, but it's shutting down like in a couple months still. We talked about Apex Legends Mobile. Like these games usually get to about a year, but like 6 months is insane for them to give up on it. I It really just had to have been a situation where Epic was like, we're not seeing anything out of this. Shut it down. We don't care. We have so much money. We'll give refunds. We're done with this. We've been focusing on Fortnite the entire time. Just end it. But yeah, Rumbleverse was fun. I do recommend downloading it. I think they said that they are the last battle pass goes live probably today, I would guess. Um, Everyone will get it for free and there will be double XP. So if you want to give it a try, you can only have up to 2 people in a party, which kind of hurt it as well. I think if you had 4 people squads, it would have been better. But yeah, it's a fun game. I enjoyed it, and I didn't expect to enjoy it. So yeah,
Rest in peace, Rumbleverse. I
Halo is
wonder if I
switching.
want. Sorry, I was gonna say I wonder if they're gonna do the thing like Marvel's Avengers is dying, right?
Hmm.
and I think they said the last day the store is live, everything, all the skins, everything is going to be free, which
Yeah.
is really fucking cool. Because it's
Yeah.
like, what do you have to
Well,
lose?
they said they're giving the battle pass to everyone for free, so it's kind of the same thing. I don't think their store has a ton of stuff. I don't know. I didn't look that far into it. Halo is switching to the Unreal Engine going forward. I did see like a supposed leak of certain Affinity's Battle Royale, which it definitely looks different than Infinite. um, yeah, there's a
I
lot of
didn't see
talk.
that.
Yeah, it's just a few screenshots. Um, I did. There's just so much talk around Halo at the moment that's kind of toxic in general, and it just kind of sucks to see. I hope that they get things turned around. I did see people like saying like, "Oh, they're already working on the next Halo," but they're not. They're just so focused on the Halo Infinite multiplayer right now that their
What?
single player stuff is way off in the future. We're not getting more
Yeah.
Master Chief story for a long time.
Which makes sense because like I feel like they're trying to get a good like foundation for this multiplayer so that like whenever the next Halo is, this multiplayer kind of just smoothly transitions into that. So all of this stuff is
Mhm.
already there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean the Halo switching to Unreal Engine. This has been a rumor for a long time. Like I brought it up
Mhm.
to you in the past, and it's just like it's wild to think that they've spent. I I remember there was a number on how much they spent. Hold on.
It was a lot. They put a lot of resources and time into making the Slipstream engine, and they're just abandoning it,
Slip
which
Space
is
is what it was called.
Slipspace. Yeah,
Um, a rumored $500 million development cost,
yeah.
which is like for them to use it for one game, John, and then like not even let that game live out in it, and then to decide,
It
you know what, let's switch.
it's really making me think that all of these like production issues from 343 has to do with that engine. Like that's
Yeah,
all I can think of at the moment with it.
that's yeah. I don't know, but yeah, I hope it pays out for them to switch because like I'm a huge Halo nerd. I just want more Halo, and right now, Halo is in a terrible, terrible place. So
It is. It honestly is, and that sucks. It's so crazy. We're just a little over a year, I think, from when that first launched, and we were like, "Yeah, this game's awesome. This is amazing," and now we're just like, I totally have no desire to even go back to it until something good it looks
I mean, I
like it's
still play
coming.
it every once in a while because like I like the like timed events that they have. Like sometimes they'll do like a small free like battle pass thing. I like doing that stuff. Custom games is really cool, but yeah, there's
Yeah,
really not much there.
yeah. All right, moving on here. Some Legend of Zelda Lego sets have leaked. I would put up the images, but everything I've been seeing is that they've been quickly been taken down. So don't put them up, Joel. Otherwise, this podcast might be taken down. But also, that might also hint that they're pretty legit. There was a Great Deku Tree set that I saw. There
See
was like
that
a
one?
rumor. It was like $350 or something like that.
Holy shit! I hope it's
Yep.
huge.
Yeah. Um, the Zelda fan in me is like, ooh, I want it, I want it, I want it. The person in me looking at that price tag is like, I don't want that. I really don't want that. But it
That's the
looked,
only
it
one
looked,
I can find a picture of.
yeah, that's all I can see that I've seen too. But yeah,
Yeah,
it
you have to
there
imagine there's others.
there have been rumored Zelda Lego pieces for so long, and now that we have Mario from a few years ago, I think it's, and with of course Tears of the Kingdom coming out, it's a good time for Zelda to get in on the action. Next up, Sony is taking the PlayStation Plus collection away from PS5. This sucks. This just really sucks. This is
Is
the
this? I was gonna say, is this a collection of games that are just like there? Like
yeah,
Ghost of Tsushima's there.
yeah. Before the
I think that's
PS4
how
games that you can,
I think that's how I'm playing Death Stranding right now, the director's cut.
yeah. Well, you better get around to finishing it because yeah, I don't
No,
think they announced when they're taking it away, but
I think they said you could still download them and play them as long as you have them installed or something like that.
mm, that doesn't sound very Sony of them.
I'm gonna look it up. Hold on.
Okay, but yeah, yeah, those games are all being taken down, and that just sucks because that was such a cool perk to have on the PS5. Just playing all these classic PS4 games that were all of them were great, essentially.
Maybe I'm not playing Death. How the fuck do I have Death Stranding director's cut?
I don't know. You stole it probably.
Hold on.
All right.
Hold on. Yeah, I don't know.
Next up, Redfall will always be online even when playing solo. That kind of sucks. I don't really like when
I'm not. I'm not
games
surprised
do
by that.
that, but I'm not surprised either. No, that's just kind of a thing that's happening more and more. Would be awesome to have those games like mean it when they say, "Oh yeah, you can play solo and be okay offline," but whatever. It is what
I
it
mean,
is. I don't.
to be fair,
It
I don't
doesn't
think they
affect.
ever. I don't think they ever said you can play offline. I think they just said you could
No,
play
they just
solo.
said solo. Yeah. Reportedly, there are Hogwarts Legacy copies out early, so watch out for spoilers. Uh, I haven't seen any spoilers myself, but I've seen people saying that they are out there. So if you're looking forward to that game, which comes out next week, be careful.
I pre-ordered it. Got the deluxe edition. Gonna be playing it
Nice.
early.
Joel, Final Fantasy VII's Midgard is coming to Xbox. Are you excited?
Yeah, I saw this. Can't wait to power wash the fuck out of it.
Yeah, it's coming in Power Wash Simulator. It's yeah, we still don't have
The
Final Fantasy
remake,
VII remake on Xbox, but we're getting Midgard. And is it Midgar or Midgard
Midgar,
with a D or no D?
Midgar. There's a D in there.
No, I meant at the end. At the
Yeah, I
end.
know. No, there's no D at the end. I'm just messing with
Okay,
you.
Midgard. Yeah, so that's coming out. So there was also like a Lara Croft mansion that was put in there recently. And then last bit of quick news. This one's just odd. There's a new stream show created by an AI that is essentially a Seinfeld show. It's just about nothing, and it's always on Twitch.
Is it like a
The
cartoon? I have it loading here, but there's an ad playing.
No, it's just like AI models like moving around and like speaking with robot voices, and it's very Seinfeld like. It's very bizarre from what I've seen.
I mean, that sounds
Um,
pretty fucking cool though, at the same time, right? Like
it,
that AI is to a point to where it can just fucking create a show. Oh, this is Seinfeld. Like this is the Seinfeld house apartment.
yeah, yeah. All of the characters have like different names, so like they've gone around that. But yeah, the Twitch channel is called Watch Me Forever, all one word. If you ever want to check that out, yeah, very it's a thing, all right.
It exists. It's there.
Yeah, yes. All right, Joel. Got any collectibles?
I do not. I got nothing this week.
I have the Crown Zenith Elite Trainer box, which I
Very
have not
nice.
opened yet. It's still got all the plastic on it, but I'll get around to opening that soon. That is the latest Pokemon card packs that have been released. So you see, I've started opening a bunch and just placing them right there. Joel convinced me to buy this Charizard box a couple weeks ago, and I'm very happy I did that.
I didn't
Yeah, you
convince
did.
you.
Yeah, you did.
All I
You're
said
like,
is like,
John,
"Hey,
you
hey,
gotta
look at
send
these
some money.
Charizards."
Yeah, and I got those Charizards, baby, because they're
Yeah, they're
so
sick.
cool.
Aren't they sick?
And the holder thing is awesome too.
Oh, the sleeves, yeah. And it has
Yeah.
a nice mat in there. There's a mat in there. I forgot to tell you.
Oh yeah, it's right here. I've got it right here.
Use
That
it as
looks
your mouse pad.
I might. It's
Put
it's a
put
bit
it under your
smaller
keyboard.
than it's a bit smaller than the one I have now. Uh,
Gotcha.
but yeah, no, it's pretty cool stuff. That's about all I have for collectibles right now.
Cool.
What you've been
I haven't
playing?
really been playing much. I'm trying to think. I've been playing a lot of Destiny. Um, just because I want to level up my battle pass before the new season starts with the launch of Lightfall coming later on in the month.
Have
Um,
you been having all the issues people have been talking about with the game?
like what?
Apparently, people were losing progress and
Yeah, so
something.
so that was a few weeks ago. The weekly reset happens on Tuesdays. I think this might have actually been last week. The weekly reset happens on Tuesday at like noon Central Time, and apparently there was some bug that they didn't find out until like the following day. So people like I don't know exactly what the bug is that they found, but they had to shut down servers for like I think it was close to 2 days that Destiny 2 was just inaccessible because it was so game breaking this bug that like it would fuck with everybody's progress. You know what I mean? Everybody who had played it would mess with their progress. And so they I think they had to revert everybody back to that reset. So
All
people
right.
who had played like in like let's be honest, people playing Destiny right now, they're pretty diehards, right? Like we're at the end of a season, we're at the end of like a season, end of a DLC like life. So the people that are playing right now are people that are like grinding loot and stuff, getting ready for the next DLC. Like, and so the people that, you know who played that first day of the weekly reset, I think they got back rolled, and it made a lot of people mad because people probably grinded stuff out that they wanted. Like if somebody got an exotic or something that they didn't have before, that's just gone, right?
Yeah.
So
So I just found it. It did happen last week, but it happened again yesterday. So for the second week in a row, people
really,
lost their progress. Yeah.
oh no, I didn't see that. I've been
Yeah.
playing, John.
It's
But
um
what I've been doing, so there's shaders in Destiny are basically like you put it on any piece of your armor and it changes the color based on what the shader is. And there's a shader that changes anything cloth on your armor to look like chainmail, which is like something that has never been in the game before. And so like everybody's trying to get it, right? But the only way to get it is to play a timed event called Iron Banner, which is PvP. And the downside of this is that you have to play so many PvP matches. And Iron Banner is only here for 2 weeks, right? It was here 1 week, like a month ago, and now it's here for this following week. And I think this is going to be the last time you can get it before the new season. Um, and somebody calculated you have to play like 150 matches to get it, right? And so what I've been doing and what a lot of people in the community have done is like I've gone on the Destiny app, found fire teams of people that are trying to get it, and all we're doing is just throwing matches. So we're getting a full fire team of 6, loading into PvP and just letting the other team win. And a game that normally takes like 10 minutes is taking us like 3 minutes. So it's just like really quick to get in and out, to get credit for the game, to progress your level so that we can eventually get this thing.
I gotta
And
tell you, this sounds really fun.
sorry, the things we do for love, John.
I guess,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, the funny thing is like there's so many people doing it to where like I'd say 2 out of every 3 matches we load into, the other team is doing the same thing. So it's like, all right, well, who's gonna win this one? Like, we just kind of decide. Like, if they don't start claiming capturing a zone right away, we're just like, all right, we'll just go take them all, and then everybody just gathers in an area on the map and just emotes and shit. It's so stupid, but I love it. I'm gonna get my chainmail.
All right. That's cool. I have been playing a few things. The first thing I'm just going to go through really quick because I'm working on a video for this. Banjo Kazooie Grunty's Revenge. I talked about this recently. I'm going to make a little like retro review video for it. Without giving too much away, I really enjoy it. It's a Banjo Kazooie game, but it's like top down or not like top down. What is it? Is it like isometric angle top down is what they call it? I can't remember. Um, yeah, it's interesting how they handle it, and obviously the levels are a lot smaller because it's a Game Boy Advance game. But I'm really enjoying it, and yeah, I'm excited to get to work on this video. It's taking a lot of work though. Besides that, I've been playing some Rocket League with some friends. I mean, it's Rocket League. It's a ton of fun. Um, we play a lot of Rumble lately, which is the one where you get like the
Random stuff.
superpowers every like 10 seconds. I love that mode.
I think my favorite mode is Heat Seeker.
I
You ever
did
played that?
see I saw it on the rotation, maybe a month or 2 ago, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that looks
S
cool. I wanna try that," but I never did. Right
so
now,
what it
they've got
is
oh, sorry, go ahead.
every time you hit the ball, it goes super fast at the opponent's goal, directly at like, you could hit it to the right, and it'll, like, curve really fast, and every time, like, if they block that shot, it gets faster. So if you keep going back and forth, this thing is just flying back and forth.
That does sound cool. Next time it's in there, I'll have to try it. The one I've been seeing now, they have a limited time one. It's got something to do with spikes. So as soon as both sides start, as soon as the ball is hit, spikes activate, and whoever grabs the ball will have their spikes on it, and then everyone just goes after them, and they can like blow them up easily. So I don't know. I think that could be fun. But yeah, I like Rocket League. I've never been the best at it. Like I can't do the like flying
Same.
through the air stuff.
That's where like my skill set stops, right? Like I
Hmm.
have like two of my good friends, they play all the time, and I'll join a game with them and they'll be fucking flying around and it's like I can't even think about trying to do that.
Yeah.
The most I can
I
do is like jump up and then just like fly in one direction.
right.
But these
Yeah.
guys are like flying all over the place.
Yeah. I don't know how they do it. I bought this game when it first came to Xbox, and now it's free to play, of course. So I've been kind of considering if I wanted to put some money on it to get some new cosmetics because I'm using just really basic
Yeah.
level stuff. And I'm kind of tired of like seeing everyone else using all these like really cool things. And I'm like, oh, I want that.
Yeah,
But yeah.
the only things I've bought in that, I think I might have bought one battle pass at one point. I bought like the Halo Warthog and the Gears of War pack. Those are the
Hmm.
only things I paid for.
Yeah.
Maybe the Back to the Future one.
I've also had all of the achievements in it forever. And I'm kind of sad that all these like free to play games never add any achievements to their game. Overwatch 2 hasn't done it. Rocket League doesn't. I doubt Warzone. Well, actually, Warzone doesn't even have any achievements in it.
You know which ones
Kind of
do?
sucks. Hmm.
The ones that are first party, like Halo
Oh
Infinite,
yeah,
like the
yeah,
multiplayer. It
yeah.
added achievements with new game modes and stuff.
I did see that. I also want to run through Halo Infinite campaign on co-op to get those achievements.
Same. Maybe someday me and Will continue our journey through the Halo universe and
Yeah, maybe.
play 4 player co-op.
Yeah. You've been playing anything else?
Just more Fortnite. That's like my weekend go to with my buddies when we want to stay up late and game.
Hmm.
Um,
I
yeah,
saw
I've been over
Dragon
the.
Ball Z's back, baby.
Oh yeah, yeah, I did see a tweet about that. I'm excited because like there have been rumors for a while that Pokemon is coming to Fortnite.
What
Yeah, which would be fucking bizarre, but it makes total sense though. Like
does it?
it would
Are you
look
gonna
great in
shoot
that game.
Pikachu?
No, but you would shoot as Ash Ketchum, right?
Yeah, but like where they always add in something that's like close to that franchise when they bring it in. If they were bringing in Pokemon, I feel like they would put Pokemon in the map for you to like go find. Like, would you hunt
No,
Pokemon?
not necessarily. They don't do that. Not necessarily
Well,
because
they should.
well, no, because like Dead Space got added, right? Isaac, whatever, got added to the game.
Yeah,
They didn't add any Dead Space stuff.
that's not on the same level as like the Marvel stuff though, and I'm sure they've added other stuff.
If
Marvel's
anything,
all
I could see them like adding some sort of Pokemon that you could catch and use as a weapon. So like, say you find a Charizard on the field, pick it up, and then it takes up one of your weapon item slots. And when you get into a battle with people, you fucking throw the Charizard out, and it kind of helps you. Because as it
I'd
is,
give it a try.
you can already tame like wild animals in the game, like boars, and
Okay.
they will help you attack enemies. They suck, but it does
Hmm.
something. But I imagine if you captured a Charizard or a Pikachu on the field, it would do probably a bit more damage than
Yeah.
those.
I'd download it again to give that a try.
Yeah, but yeah. Other
Uh,
than that, those are really the only two things I've been playing.
what about Death Stranding? You gonna tell us where you're at with that? Last time you said you liked it.
No, yeah, I still enjoy it. I haven't played. I just haven't had time, but yeah, I want to get back to it. I think I'm on chapter 6 or 7 now, and I think there's like 12 chapters. Um, I don't know. That game confuses the shit out of me though. Like, I talked to people who like I talked to like Jerica, Audrey, Chad, Matt, and Dallas, and they've all like played the game, like played a lot of the game too. And like I've asked them like, am I supposed to know what's happening? And then Matt's like, dude, I've beaten the game. I've played a lot of hours after beating the game. I still don't know what the fuck happened. And it's like, at what point does it become a bad game because of that, right? Like,
Hmm.
I feel like that's like Kojima's whole thing is like, what happened? I don't know, but it looked
Yeah.
cool. Like,
Mystery.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm working my way through it. Like,
Um, you were talking about you were doing this to beat your first Kojima game. I downloaded Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain. I haven't started it yet, but I downloaded it, so
are
I
you
will give
gonna
that a
like
try.
watch a YouTube recap or something of the other games?
No.
You think that'll just confuse you too much?
Yeah. From what I understand, my limited knowledge on Metal Gear is that pretty much every game has a different clone version of Snake. Like it's not the same guy; it's just different clones of him.
Dude, I don't even know.
That's what I believe is going on. I could be wrong about that, but there's like, from what I've seen, it's like always different. So I don't think I need to know too much. And if I do have questions, I'll I'll look up a video or two, be like, what the hell is going on here? I don't know. But yeah, now that I have more free time with my promotion, like actually sticking me to a actual
Schedule.
schedule, maybe I'll give that a try here pretty soon. Um, as for other games I've been playing, Overwatch 2, of course. I did take a bit of a break from it because
For
season
what,
2
like for like a day?
no, I haven't played I haven't played much. I really didn't play much at all in January, in all honesty. Season 2 kind of sucked. It really did. There was bad matchmaking, the meta wasn't fun, a lot of issues. But season 3 starts up next week, and they've been talking about a lot of improvements that they're going to make, which is a lot of good steps. Like they're lowering the price on skins. You can earn currency to buy skins. The event skins from the past are now just going to be available whenever. So you can just get them whenever you want, as long as you have the currency to get them.
The thing I hate about like updates like this are like they're making the game better, but it's like they're holding all of this stuff that they've been working on until one update. You know what I mean? It's like why not just like update the game as you go?
I feel I feel like certification issues with that, because like with Xbox, don't developers have to go through like a week or two of certification before they
I
can
have
push an
no
update
idea.
through? I believe that's what it is. So it just makes sense to push it all out at one time. Um, Whatever. I'm just happy to see it moving in the right direction again. They've been a big complaint from the Overwatch community since forever has been how bad Blizzard is at communicating stuff. And even before Overwatch 2 released, they're like, oh, we're going to be better at this. And then all throughout season 2, all we heard was, yeah, we need to be better at this. We're not communicating properly. Now it seems that they're finally communicating. Like they're doing multiple blogs a week, and there was a couple of guys on this podcast that I still need to watch that they're higher up on the Overwatch team, and they're like talking about what's coming and everything. So things are finally looking like they're going in the right direction. Besides that, I got back into Dead by Daylight. Uh, a couple of my friends wanted to give it a try, so I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll try it." Right now, there's a Lunar New Year event going on where like you can bring in this red envelope, and if anyone else, the killer or a survivor, like picks it up, like both of you get items for that. So that was pretty cool. And man, I've been playing Albert Wesker because he was recently added to the game as a killer, and I am having a lot of fun playing him. He's got this thing where he like you like charge up this tentacle attack, and then he like punches forward and he like flies at a survivor, and if you hit them, you like grab them and slam them into a wall, or if you don't hit a wall, he'll just like throw them in front of him. And man, it's a lot of fun to play him. I am enjoying it a lot.
That game scares me, man. Like I'll play it like once a year with you, and then like every
Mhm.
time it just like my anxiety, my heart beats up. You know, just it's super intense.
I don't understand why I don't think it's scary like at all. Maybe it's just the competitive side of it. Maybe I can't be competitive and scared at the same time. I don't know. I have no idea why it doesn't scare me. Because yeah, I hate horror stuff. I like Resident Evil, but I don't like Michael Myers is in there from the Halloween movies, and I was traumatized as a kid watching a Halloween movie, and like it always freaked me out. And yeah, I'll hear like that piano theme, and it'll like kind of give me the heebie-jeebies, but I can manage it just fine. I don't get it.
Weird.
Yeah,
Cool.
but that's
Well,
it.
with that, I think that that is it for episode 218 of the Pixel Street podcast. As always, thank you so much for watching or listening to the show, whether it's live, whether it's later, whether it's 3 years from now. Yeah, thanks for watching and listening. As always, follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street. Check out the pinned tweet there where you can find a link to join our Discord server where I post pictures of my dogs. We've been posting our collectibles this past week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so feel free to check that out. Also, youtube.com/Pixel Street Videos. Me and John have a first impressions video up right now of our initial thoughts of Hi Fi Rush. I always want to say High Res Rush for some reason. But yeah, be sure to go check that out and let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on that game so far. Um, yeah, as always, I am Joel Campos. You can find me on Twitter at Campos63 or twitch.tv/Campos63. John, where are you on the internet?
On Twitter, I am at Rivek Shadows. You can follow me there, like a lot of writers did after I posted about my
Really?
new job. Yeah, it was very interesting. Like that was my highest performing tweet ever, and like I saw
Really?
writers from like actual like websites like following me, which was very interesting. That was cool. Um, but yeah, my writing is on gameper.com. I'm now a full time staff member, so I'm going to be there 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, covering just about all the Overwatch, Minecraft, and whatever else is coming out that day. Um, I'm also working on a Banjo Kazooie Grunty's Revenge review. It's a Game Boy Advance game that I'm hoping to have up on the YouTube channel maybe next week. But yeah, very excited to get to work on this stuff.
Cool. We will be right back here next week with Pixel Street Podcast episode 219.
Bye.